one of the biggest questions is what does the DCU or does the DCU need Batman now? And the reason why I think that is a really big question is because right now, because a lot of the Glazers, okay, and I crashed out about that on Instagram and TikTok, because a lot of the Glazers glaze Supergirl so much and didn't think logically. All the only thing that they thought was they want to suck the toes of James Gunn and the DCU to get free tickets to Supergirl. That now they want to jump to say, okay, the Batman is this, that. And John Campia did talk about it. And I 100% believe that John Campia talked to someone about it. Like, I 100% believe that. And I believe that he thinks that, like, I believe he might know who's casted because John Campia is that connected. But the problem that I do have with this is, what is not necessarily is Batman casted. The question I have is, what is Batman going to pop up in? We know that Clayface is doing reshoots or they're filming more scenes. Could Batman pop up in that? Fun fact, apparently where they're refilming scenes for Clayface, the Batman is filming as well. Interesting. I'm not going to jump on my Robert Pattinson Batman wave because that's going to piss me all off, but just something to think about. Is he going to pop up in the Deathstroke and Bane movie? I would not want that, that movie in general, just put them in the Batman movie, but who knows? I think there's a lot of questions into how we can make Batman, actually work in the DCU. So, but let me ask you a question. Does the DCU need Batman now? I don't think the DCU needs Batman entirely. I think if you had the Bat family, like if you had a Nightwing kind of around for a year or two before Brave and the Bold, I think fans will be excited. But I just don't think that's the route, that they're going to go. I think that I think we're going to get Clayface with no Batman. I think that we're going to get if we get a Deathstroke and Bane movie, the rumors that were out during that time that had me really excited was that Nightwing and Robin were going to be in that movie. I'm not sure how true that was. That was just a rumor at the time, but it got me really excited. I've heard nothing about it since, so that's another big question I have. But yeah, guys. So I mean, the DCU could use Batman right now. I really do. But I think that there's a bigger issue, and it's not just Batman. The weird thing is that, hear this, why do we get a Paradise Lost show before Wonder Woman, right? Why are we getting a Jimmy Olsen show before Wonder Woman and Batman? Why did we get Creature Commandos before Wonder Woman and Batman? So, like, those are the questions that I have, and I understand some of y'all will say, oh, it's to ground the universe, it's to do this, that, and that, but wouldn't you want to start off with the heavy hitters, and so they can build the foundation of the universe, then you go out. Because I think because look, the DCU is not the MCU. The MCU had to make Iron Man, Cap, and Thor heavy hitters to build out. The DCU doesn't have to do that. They already have their heavy hitters, and you don't even have to go the traditional. Superman has way more impact than what I would think. In the DCU, and you have an Aaron Pierre that is an up and coming actor that I think could be a really big deal with Green Lantern, but it's like they don't. They don't want to dive into that. It's like you have a guy like Aaron Pierre who is a rising star that fans love, that fans would support if you're introducing us to a Jon Stewart Green Lantern movie, but you choose Millie Alcock Supergirl. That's insane to me. Like that to me is crazy. So the DCU could use Batman, but I do think that they could have done other things to make it work. I wanted to just add a little bit more into this. So number one, when it comes to the DCU Batman, I think with the failure of Supergirl, I'm not sure if that means they're going to just scramble and go into Batman mode. And I also would be surprised if they even announce a Batman casting at something like Comic-Con this year. Look, Marvel's going to own Comic-Con this year because they have Doomsday and Secret Wars and Spider-Man and all that. We get that. But I do wonder what they're going to do in regards to the DCU Batman, because you got to think about it. I'm pretty sure a big promotion of this year's Comic-Con is going to be the Batman 2, unless if they end up owning next year's Comic-Con, depending on what time it's coming out, which I could also see. So if that's the case, could the DCU finesse a Batman casting right now? Unless if, the Batman wanted to show footage, which in my opinion, you could do both. I think that you could announce a DCU Batman and also show footage for the Batman Part 2, and fans would still be very excited. So I wonder how they're going to figure all that out. And so, yeah, I think they should announce a Batman at Comic-Con, have him come out and do the whole 9 yards and run a whole freaking press run, have him out there with David Corenswet, Aaron Pierre, and the whole gang. Like, I think David Cornswet should be at Comic-Con. I think Aaron Pierre should be at Comic-Con. I think they should announce Adria or Jana as Wonder Woman, and then you announce your Batman, regardless if he's in Man of Tomorrow or not. Now, next thing, I think he should be in Man of Tomorrow now that we are talking about it. I think he should play a central role maybe in the third act or have a cameo or something like that. I think coming out of Man of Tomorrow, you're asking this question: what is the future going to look like? And you should be shaping that future with Batman. And I think involving Batman in that end of Man of Tomorrow, whether that's connecting to the Justice League or telling us just that he's there, I think fans need to know something. I would rather him be a big role in Clayface, but I'm not sure if he's going to pop up in Clayface because that movie's already done. It seems like so. You know, and you guys know I'm against the Clayface movie. I think it's stupid to do villain-led movies. I've told you guys that 1,000 times. But if he's not in that, you do a Comic-Con announcement ASAP and you just make it right with fans because the reality is fans are more excited for a Batman casting more than Man Tomorrow. And I think one of the driving forces for Man Tomorrow is the fact that Batman might possibly be in it. For me, I want to see Aaron Pierre's Green Lantern interact with Superman. I want to see Adria Arjona as Wonder Woman, like the rumors say, if that's true. I want to see all that. But if they have Batman in it, it makes it even crazier. So him and Man Tomorrow would be a banger. And you save it, keep it a secret, or not, depending on, what the box office looks like. I also think not having Batman in the DCU could have worked, though, if they did it right, So I do believe, and I made a video about this on my main channel maybe last year, and I said that the DCU really didn't need Batman right now. And I say that because Batman is a very different character than a lot of other A-list characters. I think that Spider-Man has the same situation. You don't need Peter Parker in order for us to have a Spider-Man because there's so many good versions of Spider-Man that are maybe not as good as Peter Parker. I don't think Miles Morales is better than Peter Parker, but we could have Miles Morales as a main Spider-Man and still love him with the Avengers and we still would eat it up and enjoy it. And I think Batman has that same type of an effect. Like how awesome would it have been, guys, right? If like we got to see Nightwing early, if Nightwing and Robin were in Creature Commandos, or if Nightwing and Robin were in Clayface, and what if like Batman's going on some type of mission and then it raised the question, well, why is it that the sidekicks or Nightwing and Robin are kind of ruling Gotham right now and Batman's going, could build some type of suspense. And look, if you don't have a casting, that's fine, right? But at least you have someone from the Bat family that's involved. And so I think if you build it around that, and then because look, you could have had Nightwing and Damian Wayne and Clayface, and then you could have maybe went to a Teen Titans movie, which then we would have been thrusted into Nightwing and Robin. And then maybe if you're taking your time with Batman, you can unveil it then. But they didn't do any of that, which I think hurts their case for Batman. It's like you have areas where you can put, different characters in there that can make it work without bats because the Batman characters are that good, but they're not doing that. So now I feel like they forced themselves into a situation where they have to give us Batman or else, And my last point here is showing his villains won't help if he isn't in it. I'm not sure if Clayface does what it can. Even if it comes out during the horror film time, is it going to be like that? And here's the thing: even if Clayface did $1 billion, would that help the DCU Batman anyway? I don't think so. Because the Clayface is giving me the Joker 1 vibes. The Joker 1 did $1 billion. But if you put Batman in the Joker 1, I don't think fans get even more excited because the way that the Joker was built was so weird. It was so antithetical to the original origin of the Joker. And with Clayface, I know that they're giving us a pretty true to story origin, but his origin needs Batman, number one. But also, like, it seems so far removed that, if you don't show Batman in this, why would fans get excited for Batman? And I'm talking about the regular normie fan. Yes, the sweats like us might feel a different way, but it's not just the sweats that you're selling to. It's the normal fan. So, and out of it, and I do wonder, will a Clayface sell well overseas? A lot of DCU projects haven't sold well. Superman didn't sell well overseas. Supergirl hasn't done well overseas. I wonder, could Clayface, does that character have the potential to sell well? So there's a lot of questions, and so I think that in regards to needing a DCU Batman, there was a time where you could have made it work, but now you're at a point where you need him to show up. So it's kind of how I feel about it.